Hey y'all, we are so excited about this new session of Connect Groups here at CPC. Before we get started, we just want to go over a few things to make sure that we're all on the same page. So first of all, the ABCs of Connect Groups. Hopefully, you've heard this before, but the ABCs are A, always show up. And this can mean a lot of things. We would love for our the Connect Group members to show up, whether it's show up like at group, to if you have a group text or some other way that you communicate throughout the week. When people are texting, show up there, just text back. And then also we want to show up for one another in each other's lives. If people need something, if they need prayer, we want to show up in that way as well. Now, there is an asterisk to this A. When we say that we want to always show up when we meet physically, if you are sick, and especially with everything that's going on right now in our world, if you are not feeling well, if in the last 24 hours, if you've been running a fever, if your kids have been running a fever, if you have a persistent cough, even if you have like a rash and you don't know what it is, like that would be a reason to be like, in that group text to say, hey, I'm not feeling well, and so we're just gonna play it safe, we're not gonna show up tonight. But please tell us how we can be praying for you. Something like that. So just know that about that, that A, always show up. So B, be brief. We would love to hear about what truth that you're clinging to or where you see God in what you're reading. We would love to hear that, but this is not the time when we're meeting together in our groups for everybody to give a 20-minute sermon on what they're learning. We would love to hear that, connect with people throughout the week to continue that conversation, but we don't want one person to monopolize the whole conversation. And then C, for our ABCs, is care for one another. Our Connect Groups, one of the main things, one of the main reasons that we have Connect Groups is so that we can care for one another. Whether it's when someone is sick, when someone has a baby, when someone's just going through a hard season. Our Connect Groups, this is where we show up for one another and we rally, whether it's serving them with meals, offering to help with their kids, coming over to clean their house when they're not sick, right? But things like that, that's where we want to care for one another. So these are the ABCs of Connect Groups. They're very easy. Always show up, be brief, and care for one another. You guys have been doing this for a long time and you do a great job at it, but like I said, we just want to be on the same page.
Hey Connection Pointers, we're excited about this new sesh of groups. And this session, I'm gonna make a challenge to you as we open up this new sesh, and that is, I want to challenge you to really focus on how you are going to grow in the image of God during this session. During the next few months, we really want to see you living a life that is holy and pleasing to God. Now, it may be something that you're going to try to do on your own, but really what we want to encourage this session is accountability. You see, groups are a great environment for us to hold one another accountable. Now, don't get too scared. I'm not talking about you confessing all of your sins to the person sitting next to you. It could be awkward. What instead I want to challenge you is to just understand when you join a group, you are joining a group that loves you and wants the best for you. And so we are going to invite people to speak into our lives this sesh. Which means if we're walking maybe a path of struggle, or maybe we're walking a path without some of the habits that could really help us, we want to encourage people who may see things in our lives that we can't see, and we want to encourage them to speak into us. So we're going to be teachable, and we're going to listen to the people in our group. And if you're in a group and you see somebody who maybe they aren't reading their Bible, maybe they're not spending any time in prayer, maybe there are just some things that you notice are kind of making you wonder if they're okay, I want to give you the permission to speak into the lives of the people around us. We are only as strong as the people around us. And so as a Connect group, it's important that you love the people around you enough to speak into their lives and hold them accountable. But we want to make sure we do this in love, that we are encouraging them to walk in faith and not chastising. But we really want to challenge ourselves this semester, this sesh of groups, to hold ourselves accountable by letting our groups speak into us.
Our Connect Groups are designed for three things: for relationships, growth, and impact. Your relationships with one another and with the Lord. Growth, your own personal growth in your faith, and impact. We want to have an impact on the world for Jesus. And so we are excited for your group to do that this sesh. We are just excited to see what God does in you and through you in our Connect Groups.